1 year ago, I had the plan. And the plan was to visit Central Asia, the post-Soviet republics, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan. The list is quite long. And here we are. We are back to the Soviet republics. We're in the middle of Central Asia and Uzbekistan today. We will begin our journey visiting the city that is named after the first person that visited space, Yuri Gagarin. Let's go. Let's do this.
After scrambling 1 hour in the city, I finally reached the bus station.
I need to reach Gulistan first, and from there to take another transportation towards Gagarin.
The ride to Gulistan was quite diverse. We had the Soviet elderly, young Muslim women and men of various backgrounds.
100 kilometers and 2 hours later, we arrived in Gulistan. And the first thing I see is a circus. Can you imagine? Look, here's the trains passing by and a circus. Obviously it's closed now, but probably in the evening, so on the weekend it works. Pretty bizarre thing to see. All right, let's catch our final ride to Gagarin. Gagarin. Welcome to the city of Gagarin, the place named after the first man to lay path to space. We're going to explore this little town of 26,000 people, see what it has to offer, and our main goal is to find Gagarin himself, well, the statue, obviously. The ironic part is that Gagarin never visited this town. However, he did come to Uzbekistan after he completed his first flight to space in 1961. And you won't believe what I just found on the entrance to this town. I'm not sure if this is wild camels, but wild camels are really dangerous. You shouldn't never approach them. But I see a little tag on the ears of these camels, so I think they're being domesticated by some farmers for their fur mostly, and their milk. Well, that was a first for me, to run into camels in the middle of the fields. By the way, the climate here is really hot and dry. This is the ideal place for camels. Anyways, I'm really starving right now. I haven't eaten, and this last bus ride took us way too long, so we're going to grab some food right now.
Salam.
Kuşuk есть?
Бар овqatlar. Qaynatma sho'rva bor.
Shurpa?
Sho'rva bor, shashlik bor.
Manti, может?
Porsiyada 5 ta bo'ladi.
Porция. I'm not going to waste too much time, so the first cafe that I just saw, we're going to eat here. While I was ordering, we had some misunderstanding between each other. In the 1990s, after the fall of Soviet Union, nationalism started to take place here. And the Russian language began to disappear, and also the people began to move out. Nowadays, only in Tashkent and touristic cities such as Bukhara and Samarkand, you can find people that speak Russian. They just brought the food. We have the local bread, the salad, and the most important, steamed dough, and inside there's meat. Very delicious. That was super delicious, and it cost only $3.50 for that huge lunch. As I mentioned before, Gagarin didn't visit this place, and that's because this place didn't exist. This was just a village by the name of Erzhik. And only in 1963, when Kazakhstan gave this land to Uzbekistan, and it started to grow into a town. And in 1974, it became officially the city of Gagarin. But mainly why they decided to name this place Gagarin is because it has a similar story. Gagarin explored the space, which was impossible, and this was an empty steppe. And when the Communist Party decided to develop this land, they thought it was impossible as well. And thanks to these people, the hard-working communists, who made the impossible come true, to build this town here in the middle of the steppe. Check out this frieze. Like, you can see the beginnings when the guy is standing and measuring these landscapes. The woman and the man worked on building this city. The two industries that flourished here during the Soviet times, starting in 1960s, was the cotton processing and concrete production.
By the way, there are only two cities in the world with the name Gagarin. Gagarin's birthplace and this town.
Look what we stumble upon here in Gagarin, the local bazaar. This market is definitely cleaner than the ones we visited in Colombia. That's not even comparable. Bazori. I mean, the market keeps going on and on and on, and there's no people. Spaghetti, pasta, cookies, salam alaikum. Actually, this market is super dead. Здрасте. Salam. Пить есть? Холодное, yeah?
Вот магазин заходи.
Магазин? Хорошо.
Да, да.
За ваше здоровье. We are drinking a cold Uzbek Coca-Cola because this market, well, it's not historic, it's not wild, it's not packed, it's not dirty, it's not much to see, pretty boring place. But let's go to our main destination. Look at what we found, a Soviet bed, maybe even older. This is the typical bed that people used to sleep on. Actually, it's pretty comfortable, more comfortable than the mattress. We're going on a tour to the border and to a city nearby, which will be a surprise. Как вас зовут?
Меня Шурик, скажи.
Шурик?
Да.
Вы отсюда, с этого города? Тут родились и выросли?
Нет, я это самое, в Анджане родился. В 81 году я сюда приехал.
Служили в армии?
Да.
И где вы служили?
2 года служил. В Калининской области был полгода на учебке,
Да.
а 1,5 года служил в Польше.
Да. Так вы польский знаете? Нет, не выучили? Все военные их посылали по всему Союзу, да?
Сюда уже...
А, туда не проехать, что ли?
Ну,
До границы.
написано.
Guys, we're about 200 meters away from the Kazakhstan border, and from here there's a sign that says stop, you cannot go further, like usual. This used to be an open road back in the Soviet times, but now you can see the vegetation has taken over it. The road is completely messed up. Obviously it's not being used anymore. That's sad, you see. People think Soviet Union was like an occupation, but in fact it was a friendship between the neighboring countries. Borders were open and people could visit both countries back and forth freely. Now let me take you to a town that will be a surprise. Look, another Soviet car. Тут много советских машин, да?
Здесь?
Да, в этом городе.
Да.
Welcome back to Tashkent. That was a quick ride, about 10 minutes or so. Well, obviously that's a joke. We're not in Tashkent, in the capital city of Uzbekistan. We're in the Tashkent village that is named exactly the same way. It was on the map and I couldn't resist not visiting. It's about, what, 10-15 minute ride from Gagarin. And now we're gonna go inside in the main square and just see what kind of rural life there is here. Here we are, the center of Tashkent. Wow. Here are the Soviet barracks. Bunch of donkeys all over the place. Fire going on here. Our friend here is telling me that they built the city in 1972. That's not too long ago, actually, the same time as Gagarin, 1974, 1972. The whole neighborhood is coming here. I guess we're going to have a meeting right now. Local football field.
Speaking of football, in 1981, Dimitri Papadopoulos was born in the town of Gagarin. Later became the professional footballer and won the UEFA Championship Cup with Greece.
Honestly, the design of this city reminds me of the abandoned military town that we visited in Georgia near Rustavia. And that's it for Tashkent. There was not much to see here, but it was worth the visit to know that I'm not missing anything, so I didn't regret later in the future. Now we're headed back to Gagarin. Train station Erjar. The name of the town before was renamed Gagarin. During the Soviet times, this railroad would be connected to Kazakhstan, and travelers would be able to hop on the train here and go directly to Kazakhstan. Well, the main director of the station told me that this is actually the dead-end station. They don't even have the connection to the Kazakhstan anymore. They don't even transfer cargo. They offload all the goods and products, and then it keeps going inside Uzbekistan. Looks like somebody was drunk when they put the numbers. And guys, here we are. We reached the monument that is dedicated to Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space. Gagarin came from a really poor family in a small village of Russia. From a young age, he already knew that he wanted to be a pilot, even after he saw an airplane crashing in front of his house. He only finished 6 classes in school, but then he went to college for 2 years and then finally to an aviation school. His height was pretty short, 1.57 meters. And because of that, he wasn't the favorite to be chosen to join the Air Force. However, because of his behavior and good manners, and he was the favorite of the generals, he was chosen to join the Air Force. And he was sent all the way to Siberia. And from Siberia, he was chosen to join the secret tryouts where they were picking new cosmonauts. And from then on, it's history. In 1961, he was chosen to be the first man to fly around the orbit, a 2-hour flight. After he came down, he was greeted with open arms. He was made the hero, and the people absolutely loved him because of his smile, his charisma. But not only that, that's an incredible accomplishment for humankind. The fun fact about the statue, in 1981, the day it was inaugurated, the oldest brother of Yuri Gagarin, Valentin, was here for the opening. Not only do they have the monument here dedicated to him, but they also have a whole museum opened in 2021 dedicated to space exploration. Космонавтики музей. They don't have much here, but a little history and a lot of writings and stuff.
As you can see, there is a wall after wall with information without any interactive or engaging 3D objects. Only this model rocket and the Russian spacesuit. Yet I did like the photos of Gagarin's visit to Tashkent on the final wall. But that's about it, a very boring museum.
So we found the original mosaic that was built here in 1982. And it's depicting all the accomplishments of the Uzbek. You can see the mosque, the workers, the woman, and everything. It's in the traditional style. Super cool. I'm glad that I came here to visit this museum. Well, this is where I have to conclude the episode. This is something out of ordinary that I've filmed since the last 10 episodes that I've published. But this is my comfort zone, the Soviet theme. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, leave a comment, like. And as Gagarin would say, поехали!